This vidcast has been made possible by Chrisnell Media and Sound Production. For bookings for voiceover work, on-camera, motivational speaking, and DJing at your next event, email info@chrisnell.co.za. To find out more about me, visit my website, chrisnell.co.za. Enjoy today's program. Hi there folks, it's such a pleasure to have you stop by and enjoy a cuppa with us on YouTube. You'd better make yourself comfortable because I assure you this episode is going to be a fun one. Because as is truly said, humor is the best medicine because you can't OD and the refills are free, to quote Rob Paulson. Here's a dose of what I mean.
So you guys, we are doing the Coke challenge. Let's see who can drink the fastest without burping. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Is that soy sauce?
Yes.
That is my guests today, one Nikki and Sebastian Hall, content creators and humorists in their own right. We chat about their mutual joy, their giddiness, their happiness, how it exactly translates to the screen, the message that they ultimately wish to convey, and the future of entertainment today. We're enjoying a cuppa with Nikki and Sebastian Hall. Come on. Nikki and Sebastian, welcome to Having a Cup. It's such an honor to finally meet the two of you. You guys, I've been looking forward to this conversation the entire week.
Thanks for having us.
Us too. Thank you so much for having us.
So first of all, Nikki, I should say by contrast, thank you for being an audience member. Sebastian, the first thing I have to ask you first and foremost, how much have you coughed up in hospital bills for all the stunts that this gal has pulled on you?
Oh, a few. I actually
You actually
cut my finger this morning. Yeah, I almost had to go to the hospital.
We almost had to take him to the ER today, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy. Whereabouts in Australia are you from?
I'm from Toowoomba, so it's near Brisbane. Yeah, that's sort of where I hung out.
I see. Now, the first question I should ask is, how did the two of you ultimately meet? Because, I mean, you two are a match made in heaven by all accounts.
Thank you. So we actually met on a dating website. He had already been in the States for what, 10 years?
No.
Yeah, about 10
no,
years.
in like
He was
6. I came here.
Yeah, he was already here in the States, and we met on a dating app, a dating website, whatever. So I wasn't meeting Fabio at like the supermarket or anything, but found him online.
And Nikki, I should ask you as well. You've been very transparent as well through the content that you have made. Tell me something. Whereabouts did you decide I'm going to start making content and I'm going to make it about me, bring out that goofy side of me? And ultimately, do you think it was going to work, or were you just going to dip your toe in the water and see where you were going to land?
To be honest, I've always been into content creation, videography.
Really?
Yeah, so I started modeling at age 9, and I modeled from age 9 to about 28, 29. So I did have a background in film, and I had been on TV shows and stuff like that.
Wow.
So when TikTok came around, I sort of just signed up and made an account for fun. And I had always filmed prank videos, but just never posted anything, but I had them on my phone. So I thought, why not like share these moments with the world and see where it goes. And I didn't expect to gain this crazy huge following on TikTok.
Sure.
Sorry, my dog, I think, wants to be in this interview.
That's okay. Doggy wants to make an appearance. That's fine.
But I didn't really expect it to get to where it was. We have almost 500,000 on TikTok, almost 100K on Facebook.
Wow.
We're just growing super fast at this point. And what's great about it is that I don't have to, it doesn't really feel like I'm working or trying to create content.
But
I'm
that
sort
is
of
the
just,
cruxes, isn't it? When you're doing something that you love, you never work a day in your life.
yeah, that's so true. So we sort of just are ourselves and just share it with the world, and people are liking it, I guess.
Well, I have to
So,
say that sounds a little bit like a lie, because in this interview, you are doing most of the talking, and poor Sebastian is sitting there thinking, if I say something wrong, she's going to cut me to pieces. I'm going to be sleeping in the doghouse tonight. I must tell you, you two, when I first came upon you, the very first video I saw, and it remains my favorite, was the Coke challenge. The Coke challenge where you doctored his Coke with soy sauce. And I played that on the radio when I was on my last radio gig that I did, and the switchboards lit up. They were thinking to themselves, whereabouts can we start doing things like this? Do they offer marriage advice? Came the one correspondent. I said, well, you have to follow them. Maybe they'll give you an answer. But what I really have to congratulate you two on with Glam with Nikki is you're really injecting some positivity in the world. And you both can agree with me that in the last 2 years, there's not been a shortage of the need to want to laugh, because we were all locked behind closed doors, marriages fell apart, businesses went absolutely kaflooey. So I'd like to think that the content that you two are making is really injecting some measure of there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not necessarily a candle that's being driven on by a generator. Have people come to you and said, listen, thank you for what you guys are putting in, because it's really just lifting our spirits? What has the correspondence been so far?
we have had a lot of positive feedback from people. We get a lot of messages, and that's what keeps us going.
Sure.
We feel like we're doing something really positive here. We bring a lot of smiles to a lot of people, and that's really the driving force behind the reason why we keep going. Some days do get hard. It is a very mentally draining job. It's not like I clock out at 5 o'clock. Like, it's a 24/7. My brain doesn't ever turn off. Like, sometimes
she's always going.
Yeah.
So you're more the one that plans the ideas of the premise of the videos, and Sebastian just tags along.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, or he doesn't even know about it.
Like your recent video where you put on that dinosaur head and nearly scared the bejesus out of it.
That's my new favorite.
And what about that one we did? Just one second. Sorry about that. What about the one about the water balloon that you burst over his head when he came walking through the door? Was that also unscripted?
Yeah. He didn't know about that either.
That's just me coming home from work.
Oh, poor guy. Any insomnia? Have you gone for counseling? Have you had to go for counseling because of all the stunts that she has pulled?
Not yet, but if you know anyone, good, maybe.
Well, I mean, that's why you're doing this show.
Yeah.
Laughter truly is the best medicine. You can't OD, and the refills are free. Now, Nikki, I want to ask you something. When you and I first started talking, you've also, look, you're positive, which I appreciate thoroughly. But you've also spoken about growing up under the sway of narcissism, which is also a highlight that came out these last 2 years. Has faith helped you literally overcome that bridge, or how exactly did you start to heal from all of that? And you don't have to go into extensive detail if you don't want to.
I sort of healed from that, honestly, through God, and also through just practicing self-love. If I catch myself, speaking negatively to myself or about myself, I sort of just say, wait a second, and sort of picture myself as a child. We have a daughter together, so I sort of see, I sort of think, like, is this how I would speak to a child? No. So why would I speak that way to myself? Kind of thing, if that makes
No, absolutely. I'll be open and honest. I grew up under a narcissistic father.
You can agree with me. When a daughter goes to their mother, I always say this: a daughter goes to their mother to get their identity. A son goes to his father to get his courage. But if you don't get that whatsoever, it kind of leaves a dent in the soul. And what has worked for me specifically is I'm like the both of you. I also believe in God. I came to Jesus when I was 17, but I only began to really understand my identity after I had went through drugs and alcohol and cancer and whatnot. But what I think as well is something that gets overlooked is that self-love aspect of it. But that takes a long time to ultimately just, come to the fray and just appreciate that we are made perfectly, not through someone else's lens of what people see, but we're made through the eyes of this all-seeing God who loves us because he's a king, he's a shepherd, but he's our father. And that should ultimately overshadow everything at the end of the day. But you mentioned something that really tickles me. If you are the kind of person who consistently makes up content from one point to another, your right brain thinking, is there ultimately a thought of, I have to put this down on paper, or is it more of a fact of grab the camera, grab the light, we're going to start doing it right now?
It works both ways, sort of. If it's something that requires a little bit of planning and costumes and different kinds of things like that, then I typically write out like a plan ahead of time. But there are plenty of times where I'm like, do your hair, we got to do this now.
So you storyboard everything basically in so many words.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, I mean, and some of the storyboards he knows about, like the skits and stuff that we do, but the pranks are just usually just me writing notes in my phone, because sometimes I'll have days where I just get a flood of different ideas and I'm like, shit, I gotta write this down, like I'm gonna forget all of these. So right now I currently have a list of about 8 different savage pranks that I have planned.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Sebastian, you'll like this. Eric Bana, the actor, told a story one time at 21 years of age, goes around for the first time by himself in that Ford Falcon of his for a tour around Australia. He stops off at a gas station in one of the southern states, climbs out and says, I really just need a shower. Because, I mean, when you're at the age of 20, you've got no money, you've got no means of contacting anyone. I mean, this was before the cell phone era. So he pulls into this gas station. There's one of these stand taps, and he just sits under it, and he just wants to feel the water. And eventually someone shouts, hey, you can't just shower right about there. And all of a sudden the cops pull in. And the only thing that Eric can say is, it's all right, mate. I'm Australian. Well, what can you do? You're just trying to be honest, ultimately, at the end of the day. But how's your experience been since Nikki came up to you and said, listen, we're doing this and doing that? It must have been absolutely just a mind opener for you to just, experience a side of you that you yourself may not have even thought has been possible to explore. A side of creativity, I mean.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not really my thing. It never was my thing. I've sort of like grown into it a little bit. But definitely, initially it was really just me like telling her to, hey, you should, do this. TikTok looks like it's, going to be popular. You should do this, because she used to, dabble on, YouTube and Instagram and stuff before, and then somehow I got involved in it.
But what is your real passion? What do you do for a living, mate?
I'm a CPA.
All right. So you're more of a numbers guy.
Yeah. He's a tight end.
So you're the creative one. He just has to make sure that the budget just consistently clicks, that they don't go over budget.
Gotta make sure that we got the lights on to power the camera.
But Nikki, excuse me, bug in the throat. As you look at the universe of content creation, I mean, there's vidcasts now, there's podcasts, audio and visual, there's TikTok in this. What has been the most successful medium for you when you guys do your content? Is it more one than the other, or is it more equally spread amongst all the social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok alike?
I would say at this rate, we're pretty steadily growing on all platforms. TikTok is still our largest platform, but I would say, just on Instagram alone, I think I've gained like 10,000 followers in the last like week and a half, maybe. Everything seems to sort of just be blowing up. We are on YouTube as well, but I do feel like YouTube is sort of a different animal a little. It takes a little bit more time, more effort, which we're definitely willing to do, and we are doing, but it's definitely one of those things that takes a little bit more time to sort of build on. But we are working. Sorry, my dog wants to be.
Hello, buddy. What's your name?
Say hello. This is Foxy.
Hey, Foxy. Such a cutie pie.
Thank you. We have two. The other one is just relaxing. She's really the we're inseparable. So as you can see. But
no, of course.
Yeah, it seems like all platforms are sort of really taking off right now. We are actually looking into also starting a podcast of our own where we discuss relationships, dating, marriage. No topic is off limits. So that's definitely something we'll be exploring in the next month or so. We might incorporate that into our YouTube channel as well.
Well, I mean, it's going to cost you absolutely bupkis. And here's the reason why I say it. I come from a radio broadcasting background. And I mean, when I dipped my toe into the podcasting world, the amount of what you can get versus what it can cost you is literally this much. This much. All you need is just a couple of good microphones. It doesn't necessarily, have to be top of the range. Your internet just needs to be extremely of a good bandwidth. I mean, now there's this big thing between 4G and 5G. Let's not go into that business. And ultimately just finding what is the cheapest route. Because in any business, and this is your field of expertise, Sebastian, if you want to get the best ROI, you need to invest in capital. But then again, if you've got zip capital, how can you try and curb that in the beginning until ultimately you start to build? And this leads me to my next question. Through the videos that you guys have made, have any, because I see now with videos as well, you can attract sponsorships like advertising products and services and whatnot. Have people come knocking on your door saying, listen, we like what you do. We've got this product and we feel it's more in the modus operandi of what you are currently doing, and would you guys consider advertising? Has something like that happened to you guys?
Yeah, it happens frequently with our Facebook. People throw, thousands and thousands of dollars our way, but to be honest, we've turned it down because that's not what our followers want to see. We don't want to bombard them with ads. So Clever. We have actually turned it down. Just to keep the quality of our page, to keep the page quality high, we have turned it down.
Well, I mean, you have to think about your back pocket, but what I can appreciate is where you guys saying, you know what, not going to accept this because you don't want to lose audience. But where do you take the risk? Therein lies the question. And I'm not brainwashing you. Please hear me. I'm not brainwashing you, but things cost money, and ultimately you have to build audience by advertising something, maybe just like a 10-second little snippet here and there. But that's the process of discovering, becoming a self-starter. Wouldn't you agree? You're not having people who are training you to do this stuff. You guys are just trying new stuff out. And if it doesn't work, scrap it. But if it works, let's see if we can expand upon this. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about starting a podcast and whatnot, there's a galaxy out there of content that people talk about, and some things, seems fun in the beginning, and then there are times where things just fall abominably flat in the sense that, I may not agree with what this person says. I'm sure you get the gist of what I'm saying. Are you guys going to do a little bit of more marketing research? Ask people what they want to hear, see what their response is, and then focus on the input that you receive from your audiences and build along that line? What is the thought process there, Nikki?
I think I would definitely ask our audience for their input to see what types of things they're interested in. But at the same time, I again do want to try to avoid too many ads on my page. We do get brand deals and stuff of that nature and have other revenue sources from the content creation. So, that sort of compensates for any money I would lose by placing ads on the page.
Okay.
Some companies want to post like 10 ads a day on my page. I mean, I think that's too much. I would definitely consider maybe one every other day or something. Just sort of sprinkled in would make more sense. But again, to sort of bombard my audience with that, I think would be an unwise decision long term,
Well,
So
that's very smart of you. And I mean, from what I'm hearing is you've actually got a head for business, I should say, which is really,
Yeah.
really rare. And I mean, because I know you as the jokester, that's the reason I'm making that compliment. And I don't mean that in an insulting way, please. Tell me about some of the lifestyle content that you have made. I'm equally as interested in that. What was the thought process there between your lifestyle content and the humor? Oh dear. Are you guys still here? Yeah, you guys are still here. You just froze a little bit in the video.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Let me rephrase. Sorry. With other than your comedy, you've also done a lifestyle video here and there about moving to a new house, fashion wear.
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind all that?
I think it's important as a content creator to sort of test out new content, see how it does. You can't really stick yourself in a box and stay there. You have to, times change, people change, the world changes, things change. So you sort of have to evolve, and you can't evolve if you don't test out new content styles. So, with the more lifestyle content that I have posted, such as when I posted about the miscarriage we had last June, like we connected with so many people through posting that. And it takes a certain level of courage and bravery to be a content creator. You're putting your life out there for the whole world to see, for the whole world to judge you. And there are so many people out there in the world that are not in a good place. That will always find negative say no matter what. So when you post something that's that personal, it's scary, but at the same time, like there were so many people that messaged us, that commented, that just reached out to us and said, thank you for sharing this. Like I had a miscarriage too. I felt so alone. And you posting this just, makes me feel like there's someone else out there who understands. And that is the reason why we do it, like just to connect with people.
Well, you know what I actually like? I like that. And not to put this in a socioeconomic direction, but to play on that riff that you just mentioned with regards to talking about your miscarriage. I wasn't steering the conversation in that direction, but to add on to that, I've had my experiences as well where I've shared, stuff about the cancer that I was dealing with right after going into sobriety. And people coming up to me and saying, you know what, you just want attention, you snobby little insert whatever nasty word you please, which can happen because you're right. There are people out there who don't have the same perception as you have and are just so bitter and twisted. But if you present them with a counter argument, just somehow you can just make them switch their mind. And then they say, you know what, I haven't actually thought about it the way that you have. Thank you for doing it that way. There is that psychological move of, you know what, people misunderstand you, whether it be in person or through a piece of content that you put up. Right. There is unfortunately that notion, and it's been there throughout the course of time. I said one time when it was almost the anniversary of 9/11, that a person who makes a bad decision and who has a history of making bad decisions ultimately ends up a tyrant. They don't realize it themselves. But if you present one point and you explain it a little bit differently, you open up so many eyes. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're getting to people talking and you're getting people to think. And disagree with me if you wish, but sadly, people don't read and they're not forming perceptions and they're not thinking. They just read the masthead of something and then they just jump on the bandwagon, and that's not fair. And I mean, I don't even want to think about people who have bombarded you two with nasty comments, maybe, if there were to be. Because
every day, every single day. I mean, we've heard it all. We have heard it all. I've been doing content creation for almost 2 years now, I think.
Full time.
But really going hard for about a year. But I used to cry so much in the beginning when people would leave nasty comments. But I think I have just gotten to a place mentally where I understand that these people are not happy in life and where they are. And I almost feel sorry for them. I protect my own sanity I have a rule where if it really, really bothers me and it's something that sort of hits a nerve with me, I erase the comment. So in my world, it's as if it never existed. I don't usually block people, only if they're like really nasty, but I feel like approaching the situation with compassion, I know that sounds crazy, is a good way. Handle with compassion and try to understand that these people, if they were happy, and they loved them, if they loved themselves, they wouldn't leave comments like that, because I know that I'm not wasting my life writing nasty comments on people's pages. I don't even know. I'm living my life. I'm not, if I have nothing nice to say, I don't say anything at all. That's really a rule that I live by. So yeah,
That's what we're all supposed to live by, aren't we? But we're not doing it.
If everyone lived by that, it would be great. But
there are a lot of really nice people. We get a lot of
really
good stuff.
Yeah, we do.
There's negative, all of them. And then
for every negative comment,
it's part of the business a little bit.
Yeah,
No, absolutely. Yeah. Well, what I like about from what I'm hearing is that you guys are open-minded, and not open-minded in the secular sense. That you guys do know the risk of what you guys are putting out may draw some bad attention and whatnot, but that you guys ultimately have the mindset of obliterating the negative and then just moving on. And I want to share a perception with you, and please hear me the way that I say it, and then you can add your own spin onto it. If we look at the last couple of years, Nikki, you've spoken about being in this game full time, making your own content now full on for a year. You've had experience in this before, and you've had a myriad, should I say, entertainment background. I mean, this is your lifeblood, and you have been born into this, born to entertain. I feel now, and interestingly enough, Tyler Perry, the filmmaker, said the same thing, where if you want to draw an audience, it has to come from the people who want to pull the audience. They consistently watch what happens in the world, and then they make content from that. I think the future is more and more people are going to revert to the internet to get their news, to get their other people's insights and whatnot, and not just through the traditional media, because A, it is free, and two, it is convenient. The only challenge, though, is separating the corn from the chaff, finding their preferences. Your thoughts on that?
I think that you are onto something. I think that you're correct. I think there's a shift happening right now, where people are going to be. Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I completely agree with you.
And I have to say as well,
even like the videos, like we're making, in theory, like short TV movie, like it's like short film, really short film.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, think about it. How do you think Justin Bieber, before he became the horror that ultimately transpired, how he got his fame? Through a Facebook video. That's how he got his first record deal.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Crazy.
But I mean, yeah, that's really what it is. They're all the platforms are all gravitating towards the short form video, and all YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Don't be surprised if you two get a contract from Netflix to start your own reality show. Because, I mean, you two are absolutely just bloody hilarious.
Thank you so much. That would
Thank
be
you.
nice. We wouldn't mind
Yeah,
that.
that'd
Well, now you have a legitimate reason to look forward to something. And I'm excited about this podcast. Do you want to make it audio or do you want to make it visual as well? Like with what we're doing here?
Audio and visual. We were thinking of incorporating it into our YouTube channel as well. And just discuss all different kinds of topics. Dating, marriage, relationships, men, women, no topic off limits kind of thing.
And off the cuff, not prepared.
Yeah, I'm thinking off the cuff. Maybe throw in a planned one here and there, but we're not really planning.
Yeah, I'm not good at that stuff.
We're not really.
Oh, I find that hard to believe, coming from the certified public accountant.
Yeah, I can't plan it all. No, because I'm not like an actor. You know what I mean? I'm not an actor. I'm not comfortable doing it. So if it's not natural, it's gonna looks really really weird.
He's an off the cuff kind of guy.
Well,
So.
you know what? You would know better, but what I like about again, and this may seem an insincere form of flattery, is the honesty that comes through. I mean, I know it's fake. I just know it's fake. Where Sebastien took tin foil and covered your entire kitchen with tin foil.
Oh no, that was real. That was real.
You're lying.
That was real.
I don't believe you. No way.
No, he really, yeah. That was
Okay.
Sebastien.
All right, we're onto something here. Let's break the myth right here. The one where you got tied into with a black bag, was that unplanned or was that improvised?
that was planned.
That was planned.
Someone else had done that, I think, right?
No, he put me in a vacuum bag, in a black bag, and he had vacuumed the bag closed.
Yeah.
And we actually never posted the video. We never ended up posting it, but then there was one. I think it was. Oh, wait, is it the one of me laying on the floor? And
Yeah,
like,
that's the one where he said, "I know you wanted to try bondage," and then he drags you halfway across the bedroom. I think
that was all off the cuff.
That was off the cuff, but
we were doing another video with the bag, and then I just sort
of
did that.
Okay. If it's not for kids, then we'll scrap it. Listen to me. Okay, here's another one. The one where Sebastien was blindfolded, and I think you were too, and the Coke bottle was consistently flying around on the fan.
Yeah.
Look at Nikki. Look at Nikki. She is blushing. I think it was intentional to bully Sebastien. I felt so sorry for him. I thought he was going to end up with a concussion.
We were both supposed to be blindfolded. And then without him knowing, I took my blindfold off. That was a pretty fun video to me.
Folks, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It is on the Instagram page. Nikki is consistently throwing a bottle tied to a fan in Sebastian's way, and he doesn't know where to look. He doesn't know where to touch. And then my favorite one as well is where you got chewed out for, I think, buying a 12 grand piece of furniture, and you're sitting there with puppy dog eyes, and you're getting this chewing out session.
That one was great. Where I told you about
I remember,
yeah. He remembers that one.
Oh, and let's not forget, but this one was exceptionally nasty, because what if he swallowed it? We made the chocolate sponge cake out of actual washing sponge.
I almost did.
He couldn't figure out why he couldn't like.
I'm like, it's really chewy. It tasted pretty good. Like, what is this?
And what about the mustard icicle that you made for him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one tasted good.
Then of course my favorite was the
my
one.
daughter plans half of the ones with her.
Sorry, just repeat, Sebastian.
I think my daughter plans half of those food ones with her. She's all in on them.
I think so
Yeah.
as well, because I can see that slight little smile on her face, and then I see Nikki thinking, "Oh no."
Our daughter's 5, but almost 5, but she comes up with some pretty good ideas of her own. So sometimes we use her ideas, but she's just like her mom, that's for sure.
That's what I said. She's mommy's child. But you know what I think that's also to be cherished, because as a child, just an observation from my side, I'm unmarried, I don't have kids. A child's imagination knows no limits. But as you grow older and you start to see reality, then that imagination starts to dim a bit, and then it's sort of like a mission to get back to that stage of where you want to go back to that universe of an imagination. And for you guys to incorporate those ideas from your little girl, you know what, you've got 10 out of 10 on mine, but my all-time favorite will still remain the soya sauce and the Coke. And I don't know how I don't know, Nikki, how you bit your tongue almost halfway through not to laugh, but the moment you took that first swig, Coke flies all over the place and you're howling like a hyena. That was absolute genius. Absolute genius.
Thank
But
you.
soy sauce doesn't taste that bad, Sebastian. Why did you contort your face like that?
Oh, it doesn't taste that good when you take a big sip of it.
I think because he was expecting
sushi.
Yeah, but it was a little different when you're dipping some sushi in it than swigging it down.
And then, guys, I really would like to thank you for the opportunity. I mean, you're such both great sports, and I understand this is your first interview, but really, from me to you, I'm the only person saying it, and I'm sure you've got a legion of people who have said the same thing. Thank you, really, for making the world a better place through the content that you guys put up, and thank you for being so open and transparent about the struggles that you guys have been through, and thank you for showing the world that it's okay to laugh. Even though life is not perfect, life isn't perfect, but we can choose to respond to it in a manner which is so necessary, which is humor and laughter. And you two deserve an award, a lifetime award, lifetime achievement award, for the contributions that you guys have made. And I wish you all and nothing shy of the blessed for going forward. And I want to see that podcast coming up soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So it is here where we have to make a pit stop. But don't fret, we'll be back soon. In the meantime, tell your friends, join us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and Podcast One. Until we see you again, this was Having a Cuppa for the week. See you soon.